strategy. This is not the place for you to be. So let's have fun, let's get messy. Throw on your unitard and come with me.
Welcome to the Slop. Now let's get sloppy. Yes. Wow, we are here. We're out here. Week 11. The Slop is back for the patrons of the podcast. And boy, we have a treat for you because there might not be a lot happening in the Big Brother house these days, but there is plenty of slop for us to feast on. And we are blessed to have this man make some time for us to talk slop. Here he is, of course, that you can hear him every week on the Survivor B&B, the BB B&B post-show recaps. The list goes on and on and on. Please welcome an all-time legend. It is the great Mike Bloom.
Thank you so much for the kind words, Rob.
Claire introducing you.
Yes, is he of the Claire shout out. I think that's going to be now my main title. Maybe I should change my Twitter bio to it. No, and Rob, I do think that it's a nice watermark for how the season has gone so far, that literally your opening words were, "Welp, I'm existing. I'm breathing right now. Might as well talk some Big Brother at the moment," because I think that that's a good representation of like 73% of the fandom, maybe conservatively speaking.
Yeah, it's been like a tough home stretch here where, you know, we waited a long time. Like, okay, let's get down to the 6. Let's get down to the 6. And like maybe for 48 hours. Ooh, intrigue. And then after that, it's like, well, this is a long, drawn-out slog.
Yeah, I mean, slog, not slop. Let me just say here at the top, this might be a hot take, but in my opinion, in the years of Big Brother production decisions, the worst one they have come up with in recent memory is dedicating an entire week to the Final Four. Rob, I don't know if you recall, back in the old days, they used to dedicate one episode to the Final Four, where they just had because literally, like, we experienced this in the past episode, right? They're like, well, I nominated these people, but it doesn't really matter. It's a false gesture because all it comes down to is the veto anyway. Everybody knows this. This could be done in an episode. Like, this week is essentially can be done in an email. And so I just find it always so ridiculous that since I think BB21, we have now settled for a Final Four week. And as a result, now we are sitting through for the third season in a row, 7 days of, well, it's coming down to competitions and who won the competition. All right, time for 3 episodes.
Yeah.
This is how fill that out.
Good point. And remind me again, why do we have to do double evictions?
That's a very great question that honestly, I think a lot of us are looking at ourselves in the mirror and being like, why do we need this? Because look, let me throw out another big question here. I'm coming at you hot. I'm coming at you with all the hot branded topics. I got a big cattle brand here to sear some, skin sizzling. Your boy needs some steak.
Like
cowabunga. Oh God! Well, I am wearing actually surfers on my shirt in honor of. Was it It was cowabunga. I thought it was Hanamumu, but I don't remember which one.
Hanamumu might be a Mike Bloom original.
Yeah, I think in retrospect, Leon and I are looking at our very stupid suggestions and being like, all right, these aren't too bad. You know, Liana's idea of Alyssa the living bikini actually probably plays better on paper with whatever abomination ended up on the page. But I think that it really has become this thing, unfortunately, of double evictions being something we're so hyped for, right? Like, it's double eviction night, baby. Like, we're getting a baby.
Double eviction, baby.
Yeah, I don't like, we're getting a baby out of Mr. Announcer Man. Like, he's a 90s announcer announcing a new Saturday morning kids show. You know, there's some sort of excitement around it.
Oh man, that was the best when they would drop that baby on you for those cartoons.
Biker mice from Mars, baby.
Oh, so classic.
Yeah, well, listen, you talk down to the children, right? So you're like, all right, here comes an episode of Pepper Ann, baby.
In that circumstance, you might literally be talking to babies, and I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, if there's like an announcer, if Steve from Blue's
Don't go
Clues,
anywhere, babies. We'll be right back.
If Steve from Blue's Clues comes on, like, I never forgot about you, baby, I think that takes on a very different connotation nowadays. But I think that...
Do you think that we could get that type of message from Tiffany at the finale of like, hey, you know, I know that I just like left in the
Yeah.
right when things were getting to the home stretch, and you look great.
Yeah,
Keep being you.
you really helped me back in the day, helped me solve some stuff. Remember back in the day with Mr. Kyland and Miss Alyssa,
Mhm.
side table drawer that is Big D. We solved so many clues together. And then went away for a while, and you thought I died, but I didn't die. I came back. Thank
Mhm.
you. I never forgot about you.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happens. When Tiffany, if she accepts America's favorite house guest prize. But all that is to say, I think that for some reason, like double evictions have now just completely fallen off the map. And I talked about this with BB Can as well. I feel like it's gotten to the extent where we haven't really hit any sort of Venn diagram of either an outcome we like or something that's entertaining.
Yeah. Well, I would push back only that I feel like that we did have one, I feel like in recent memory that was a good one. And I will say, I will go back to Big Brother 21.
Mm.
Was it Nicole Anthony? Did she win the HOH?
Yeah, and then Cliff won the veto. That was like Christie's swan song.
Yeah, and that set up like a kind of an interesting home stretch that they had like the really interesting final 5 week where they basically it was Cliff and Nicole, Jackson and Holly, and then was that
Old Tommy Bracco in the middle.
yeah, and that was maybe that was Tommy and Chris and Christy that maybe the double eviction was at 6.
Yeah, it was 7 into 6 because it was Jessica and then it was Christy, and then that led into the final 5.
Okay, got
So
it.
yes, that was sort of like Christy's death knell. But remember, she had like staved off the block during Taco Tuesday. She had Tommy save her with the veto when Jessica
Mhm.
went. So like,
Let's not digress too much.
let's not get too much into Big Brother 21. I mean, so that being said, like I did a little bit of my own little like look back into BB history. I came up with like probably my own top 3 and bottom 3 double evictions of all time. And spoiler alert, I think this past week's might fall into the latter category. In my opinion.
So what are you giving us first here, Mike?
Well, I'll give you 3 good, and you know what? Maybe I'll give it upon you to rank which of these 3 are the best. Because for me, it actually only comes from 2 seasons. But I think of course, the infamous Big Brother 13 double eviction with Danny Donato into Clown Shoe, Jeff Schroeder getting evicted. Like, I think he was the HOH when he evicted Danny, and he just gets completely booted. I think it's either Kalia or Portia wins, and then Shelly joins up with the newbies to vote him out.
Mhm.
And then, listen, you can say what you want to about Big Brother 15, and I will absolutely agree with you that they had fire double evictions. The first one was where Candace left, and then everyone, including the audience, was blindsided with them going after Judd, where essentially like Aaron wins and they just all convince Aaron like Judd's been playing both sides. You got to get rid of him. And so Judd becomes the shock boot. And then in the second double eviction, Amanda goes out first and Andy pulls off arguably like the biggest move of his entire game, where he evicts Amanda, convinces McCrae that it was Alyssa's fault. And so when McCrae wins HOH, he nominates and evicts Alyssa instead. I think those are, for me, consensus top 3 double evictions in Big Brother history.
Yeah, I mean, nothing jumps out that sounds better than that. But I kind of feel like that the stuff you're talking about is from like 8 years ago.
Right? Yeah. Yep.
It's been a minute since like we're having like a lot of this excitement, and we've had way more duds than successes. And I do think it might be time to like rethink the double eviction. Like I feel like that there's like I don't know, like could we have like a live episode where like I know we wouldn't have maybe the veto comp, like because we have the veto on Wednesday night as part of like tonight's our live veto night.
Yeah, well, they could do something like, remember Celebrity Big Brother, because of the truncated schedule, would do like a live veto and live eviction. So maybe that could be a thing. I mean, I think it's also a matter of just futzing with the formula. I think something as simple as doing a double eviction in like week 4 or 5, where it's the first person to go is the last pre-juror and the first person to go is the first member of the jury, I think is a nice way to divide it up. They did that with Mike Boogie and Ashley in Big Brother 14. Sarah's also bringing up that the shark veto that Ian won in BB 14 was pretty good too. And I think that's when Chef Joe ends up going for 3 worst. So I had, in chronological order, I had BB20. I think the Haley Brett one was another one that sort of is comparable to this, right? Where you're like, oh, Brett's gonna take it, like he's gonna win something, and Casey, and it was like Casey wins the HOH and Tyler wins the veto or something, and it's like, oh, okay, Brett gets taken out. Any sign of there being some sort of like momentum against Tangela is gone now. I of course have this one. I think, listen, I cannot add anything to the perfection that you brought to Thursday night in terms of frustration, in terms of just from planning a show perspective, the fact that we got absolutely nothing out of the episode proper, despite having 2 hours, is frankly ridiculous to me. Like watching the Friday episode and being like, where was this? Why didn't we have this beforehand? We could have had this on Thursday. And then, but I think number one for me still might be the triple eviction. I don't know if it counts as double eviction, but we can't get over the fact production built up this never before seen twist for an entire 7 days. And within the first 7 minutes of the episode, they completely blew it. And it's that viral video of the guy with the shaky hands holding the phonograph stylus. He goes, all right, this is a very big, and then it just snapped. He's like, oh crap. That's what Big Brother production did over the course of the triple eviction. And on top of it just being like, bang, bang, boom. Like, I guess Danny going was probably the most interesting part of that, but still it was like bad on top of bad. So I co-sign you. I think the double eviction needs a bit of a makeover personally.
Okay. So I'll rank those 3. I'll say this one that we just had, the worst. I'll say of those 3, at least the triple eviction, like it's hilarious that they spoiled their own triple eviction, which they had been building up to by having the sign up behind them. And then they said, oh, what's that, triple eviction? And then Julie Chen Moonves is like, I didn't say that.
Oh my God. Just imagine, like, I don't know, if you are a military leader, if you're Geraldo Rivera, right? Like, didn't he get in trouble for like outlining the plans for a military coup on Fox News that like they found out about? That's essentially what happened to Big Brother. Was like, all right, they're not gonna know what's coming, and what's coming is literally behind her, and she has no way to cover for it whatsoever. What do you say? Like, oh no, that's for the other show I film.
Let me see if I can play a clip from that. I have a clip called Triple Eviction Screw Up.
We're going to keep them in the dark just a little bit longer. But for now, let's return to the living room for the second vote and eviction of the night. Hello again, house guests.
Oh, what's behind you?
Yep, it's time to gather.
It's a triple eviction.
Wait, what?
What?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
What in the world? Come on.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Oh.
he did that on purpose.
Oh my. Oh.
Hello.
Yes.
But like, I love it.
Let me do one
We'll
more.
play
clip.
more. That's incredible audio.
It took a double eviction to get me out, or a triple eviction to get me out.
I didn't say anything about a triple eviction yet.
This is Julie Chen, to use a biblical reference, is being a Pontius Pilate in this situation and saying, I wash my hands of this. I don't know them. Don't involve me in this, please.
Yeah. So that was hilarious. And then I feel like that the Big Brother 21, I know there was a lot of hype. I remember, Taryn talking about the level 6 Civil War, but don't forget, we still got like a couple of notable moments from that episode, including when we saw like what was it, like the Tyler and Angela give like the one step ahead, make that 2 steps ahead. Like that was hilarious. Julie Chen Moonves called Brent. And then also, Mike, historic moment in Big Brother history. That was the first night that she signed off the show from outside the house. I'm Julie Chen Moonves. Take care.
And that was, I think, a moment an identity was created that, frankly, we are still trying to figure out 3 years later. Mm-hmm. We are still trying to break that down. That was the nexus point. If we're talking the Loki verse of like, this is where the timelines diverge. This is variant Julie Chen Moonves. Mm-hmm. She's not like Julie Chen of yore. She's very different in that perspective.
So I feel like that the other two that you mentioned at least have like sloppy things we could point to and laugh at here. I don't have a lot of things that we can laugh about.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
And I think that that's a great segue to get us into talking about, Julie Chen Moonves has done these interviews with Entertainment Weekly all season long. And I thought that she had been doing them with Dalton Ross, but I'm not sure if Dalton is away. Do you know that had it been Dalton all season?
I believe it has, but it's a little different. So, like, if it's done in a similar way as his conversation with Jeff Probst, I believe they're done over email, as opposed to usually a lot of the interviews that we do. Or, of course, as Rob would know this, if people who experience the Q&A is like we do them over video / over the phone. Usually, I think in this case, it's like him sending in answers, Julie Chen probably answering back via writing. Otherwise, God help whoever has to transcribe the answer she's giving.
But this is not Dalton Ross on the byline here. This
Oh,
is
interesting.
This is Lynette Rice. And so I
I'm
just
not
want
sure.
I thought it had been Dalton all season long. But all right.
Could Dalton have thrown in the towel? Like, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
I mean, maybe he should. Okay. So not anything about Dalton Ross, just because Julie Chen Moonves is getting
So, like, forget the deep end. This is the Marianas Trench we're talking about. This is a whole new level somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And this week, I mean, really, I think that we have like pushed the envelope further out than it has gone before.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can one up calling Claire a child of God in her thank you response, but and this is a train, right? This is a train that we didn't necessarily buy a ticket for it. We just somehow found ourselves on this train. The conductor was like, all right, I'm changing shifts over here. So enjoy your new conductor. And we're like, all right, well, we're going to this next stop. So like, we're fine with this new conductor. And now I think we're sort of unwilling passengers on this train, but there's really no way off the train at this point. We can't pull any emergency brake and jump off. We're just along for the ride, trying to check out where this train is taking us.
Yeah. Okay. So, let's get to some of these answers here. Now, in fairness, Julie does say some nice things about the cookout and why the show felt like it was really important to highlight that in the final 6. And so Julie has some nice insights here. But Julie Chen Moonves is asked that in the jury video, I was surprised to see that Derek and Brittany didn't grasp what we've been seeing as viewers all along. The black players were sticking together in the hopes of crowning a black winner. Derek also seemed genuinely shocked to learn that there has never been a black winner. Do you think all the evicted house guests were blind to the unprecedented amount of people of color on the show this season? And how could it lead to a historic outcome? Little bit of a longer answer. Julie Chen Moonves talks about how, first of all, you have to remember that as a viewer, you saw it all, but for the people in the house, that they either saw what they wanted to see or they see what is being presented to them. The cookout members were brilliant in keeping their unity under wraps. They didn't flaunt it. They didn't brag about it. They didn't weaponize it to intimidate others. Also, Derek and Brittany are only 24 years old. I feel it's important to point that out because it gives me hope for the future. I hope and pray all young people use discernment when picking and choosing who they align with. And when they do see someone with different skin color, race, heritage, and native tongue, that they want to learn more about them and find common ground and unity in some way. We are all children of God. We are created in his own image. Let's help people become the person God created them to be instead of dividing and separating from one another. Okay.
I mean, what we just experienced from a written perspective was like the equivalent of sinking yourself into a hot bath where you're like, okay, slowly easing your way in. And then eventually you're immersed. And she's like, well, we're all children of God. It's like, oh, all right. Well, I guess I sort of like acquiesce myself to the temperature of this. You sort of squeezed it in there at the end. Yeah. It was a natural segue, I suppose.
So nice message. We're all children of God. That's Julie's hopeful for the future. So again, we're, very, there's no separation of church and state in Big Brother.
Yeah. Though I do feel bad about Claire though, because now she's no longer, she's not an only child anymore. She's part of a family.
Okay. Julie Chen Moonves is asked, by nominating Hannah, Azah reduced the chances of a woman winning the game. Do you believe Azah has a prayer of winning at this point?
They had to have done this on purpose, right? This isn't like Claire accidentally mentioning the word grace and her being like,
Yeah.
or no, what was it? What was it? Who did that happen this past episode, right? Where
Yes,
someone
I
was
love that
like,
you used the word grace. Faith. Oh,
yeah,
that's one
like,
of my favorite words.
faith, faith. Oh, faith,
you-
that's one of my favorite words. How'd
Do
you know?
think Lynette Rice over at EW is like from the Rob Cesternino school of interviewing here? That this is like a Raven Walton type interview, you
You
think?
mean, is it a troll job? Absolutely not. I think whenever you interview Julie Chen, there should be like a list of no words, like almost like a celebrity writer. Like, this is her green M&M list. These are the words you probably shouldn't mention around with Julie Chen Moonves unless you really want to go down a path. Like, just so you know, this is something that you might not get what you bargain for if you mention any of these buzzwords: prayer, fate, grace, the names of anybody in the Bible, I suppose.
So do you think Azza has a prayer of winning at this point? Julie Chen Moonves says, I believe that all things are possible with the strength of Christ. I don't know how deep her faith is, but if it's strong and she has a personal relationship with the Lord, then yes, it's possible. Derek Frazier has had zero luck in these competitions. It's so sad. He wasn't asking.
But that wasn't the question. That wasn't the question. And that's another reason why it's on the no list, is because what Julie Chen Moonves digested, she saw the word prayer, skipped everything else, and thought, okay, is the question, should Azza pray more? I guess is what she's trying to answer at this point.
Yeah. Well, look, I like this outlook because I feel like it changes my perception on everything. Where, Rob, you think the Jets will win the Super Bowl? Like, oh, well, look, all things are possible through Christ with his strength. So I guess I'm not saying no.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all things are possible, right? Like, birds can swim through the power of Christ. It just depends on how powerful you want them to be. I love that fundamental misunderstanding of the question, unless she was purposely shunting it off, right? To be like, oh, I don't really want to badmouth Azza in this moment. Let's talk about how she can pray. How she can pray to win that Final Four veto.
Yeah. Well, Derek F, that Julie brings it back to him. And the next question gives a little more insight into why. The interviewer asked, Derek can't win a challenge to save his life. Do you ever want to call the producers and say, can't you just let them build Lego houses or something? I don't know. Like,
wait. What is Lynette Rice doing here? What a real, like, weird journalistic effort to be like, can't you just like tell people to take it easy on him?
Yeah. I mean, do we have any sort of information to let us know that Derek Frazier's calling would have been to be on Lego Masters?
No, he's gonna bang into the set and just like completely topple everything. We saw this mini martini challenge. Like, didn't he participate in that? Like, he did pretty bad in it, if I recall correctly.
Yes. Julie says, I love Derek F. So she's the one. I feel like that he has a great social game and he doesn't need to win any competitions. Also, I've heard him say on the live shows he loves God and he loves his mother. In my humble opinion, if both are true, this guy is going all the way. Amen. This guy's going all the way. All the way where, Julie?
All the way to his mother's house, because he won't have enough rent payment he won't have to be $750,000 richer. I mean, this is what's gonna happen. I kid you not, Rob. It is going to be Big D and Xavier finale night. The jury's gonna ask questions, and like Big D's gonna answer his stuff, and Julie's gonna be like, but don't you think that represents a good social game that Big D didn't need to? Like, Julie Chen, if she can help it, is going to put her thumb on the scale for Derek Frazier. She
loves Derek Frazier.
I mean, listen,
she's been the person voting all those BB bucks to him.
Yeah, maybe her votes counts. Like, you know how the correspondence votes counted more weighted in your RHAP countdown. Do you think do you think in-house votes count more than audience votes in the BB bucks?
Well, I wonder, maybe, do you think she got her whole like congregation like voting for like, listen, everybody, we need your support. There is a man of God who needs us.
A man of God and his mother. He loves his mother. Be sure, if both are true. I also love that statement. If both are true. But if if he goes back on his word and says he doesn't like his mother anymore, I will come down on him with the fire of 1,000 overheated robots. It's just a wild proclamation. I mean, listen, if Julie has any sway, we might see Big D in a future All-Star season because evidently he might be one of her favorite players in Big Brother history.
In history. So, all right, that's Julie Chen Moonves. We'll be on the lookout for what she has to say going into next week. But Mike, let's talk about the house guests still in the game.
There's
And
not many of them.
there's only 4 left, and it's been a rough go for Kylan, where he very much wanted to go to the end with Xavier. Sadly, Xavier is not reciprocating those feelings towards.
Oh, that seems to be a theme of
Kylan.
this season, right? People having feelings towards Xavier and him not reciprocating, or vice
Mhm.
versa.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna share a clip. We're starting to wonder, is Kylan losing it? Is the question. This is from the BB screenshots account on Twitter. Many other Twitter accounts have come up with this, but here we go. Let me share this with you.
All right.
We have here, let me explain this for the people listening to the podcast version. Kylan appears to be making quesadillas.
Okay. I'm game with that. I'm
Okay.
not a huge fan of tortilla as a vessel for food. Like, I'd much rather have a tortilla on the side
What
for
do you
a dipping.
making? That wasn't a taco?
No, like, yeah, I guess if he's doing like a soft taco, I don't know. For me, tortillas are either too thick or too thin. I can't find a good thickness.
You're the Goldilocks of tortillas.
Right, but as we're about to experience here, maybe the ply perspective is why Kylan does what he does
Yeah.
here.
Mike, could you narrate this clip for people listening to
Absolutely.
our audio version of the podcast?
So
Okay.
Kylan is holding the tortilla below him, assumingly about to, embark on another culinary adventure. And so Kylan is holding the tortilla as we go into this clip. So Kylan decides to hold it over his nose. He flips it over, seems to be doing like a bit of a smelling motion, but is definitely at least making skin to corn contact.
Yeah, holding
with
it to
the
his
tortilla.
face. Yeah, maybe
Holding
it
it up
has
to his
gone
face.
bad.
Yeah, and he's done both sides as well. I'm not sure why the need to do both sides, but evidently maybe there's a bad side and a good side. He's checked both to make sure it is indeed a good tortilla.
Yeah. I mean, and this is the tortilla, not the coin of destiny.
The Corn of Destiny, I don't know. Maybe this is like Tough as Nails where they blew up the prop too much and now they're working with this like giant hunk of a tortilla-sized coin. But
Okay.
I mean, he hopes he could use the Coin of Destiny this time around.
Okay.
And so
what's
Kylan's going to
happening here Mike.
He's going to fully do a Stefan with the tortilla. He places it over his mouth and nose in a motion of, oh, it's a good
Is
tortilla.
it a Stefan or is it Mary Catherine Gallagher also?
Well, then he'd stick the tortilla under his armpits and then smells them, which I think would be probably the most egregious thing of all. A lot of SNL characters around like smelling their putting hands over their face or something. But yeah, he puts it over his face as if to either like wipe something off or to just be like, oh, this is so good. Let me luxuriate in the texture of this tortilla for a bit.
The hottest club in Southern California is the BB Beach Club. It's got everything. Jack Jellyfish.
Mini martinis, a BBC, and it doesn't mean big blue couch.
All right. So here is Kylan. All right, he's now covered his face. Is this maybe, do you think that is he preparing himself like, hey, I've been in this BB bubble for these last 3 months, but pretty soon this is gonna be me back out there.
Yeah, let me get back to mask mode. Could this be I don't know, is Fauci signing off on this? He's like, you could wear tortillas over your face if you really need to.
No, a tortilla is not a prophylactic face mask.
If anything, you better double up on those tortillas. Or I want to see hard taco, soft taco at best.
All right. So here's Kylan, and now
he's gonna put it back. He's gonna move it north again. He's gonna move it in front of his eyes. Maybe now he wants to take a look at whatever majesty he has exalted onto it.
I'm wondering, Mike, is this a little bit like if you go on like a overnight flight and sometimes they hand you like the moist towelette and it's like, is that a little
I
bit
don't
of
want a
maybe the-
moist tortilla handed to me. And then it gives me further questions.
Do you think that maybe his face might be a little oily and maybe the tortilla is good at blotting some of that excess oil?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if tortillas are good as at oil pads. I don't know
They
how.
definitely are. Yeah, you know, I know you haven't found like a good thickness of tortilla, but they can absorb some oil.
Wait, is this why Kylan complained to Chipotle? Your tortillas could not absorb any of my face oils. 1 star.
Okay. All right. So here he is. Tortilla still over his face.
Over his face, and now he decides to put it down. He's gonna, oh nope, he's gonna smell it one more time. He like flips it around and decides like, oh well,
Yeah.
now I'm intrigued though, because now I'm seeing this last minute thing, and I'm seeing like a flap, Rob. Could these have been 2 tortillas?
Yeah, I think he had 2 tortillas the whole time.
And now he's fully like nose and book, just shoved his face into it fully. He has covered every inch of these 2 tortillas. This is wild to me.
Boy, this is question number 1 in the Kylan exit interview.
Exactly. Like, we have a lot to talk about. But first, what's the deal with the tortilla? And of course, he'd be like, I'm glad you asked that. There are many different reasons why I would put a tortilla onto my face. When I think about the process with which tortilla is created, of course, starts with the noble farmers we have at the wheat mills that grind things down into a nice fine paste that then gets pounded out using various liquids into like that would be it'd be a 10-minute interview all about Kylan, educational film style, walking me through the process of how the tortillas were created.
But I think that what you are giving him too much credit for like having like a point. I think it would be a little bit more like, yeah, that's right. Tortillas, dinner. That's a important meal of the day.
Or is it breakfast? It might be
I
breakfast.
mean, I guess it could be breakfast. What? You know, we eat so much. So many people are hungry and just trying to figure out where the next meal is going to come from can be.
You know what this needs, though? This just proves that, you know, due to COVID restrictions, this probably won't happen. But we need like a whap, get ready for a takeover. And in comes Lori from Big Brother 3 stepping in. Who's the spokesperson? Kylan used his face to wipe a tortilla and put it in the pan.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this has to be, I don't know, this has to be one of, I think, the biggest affronts to food in Big Brother history, and that is in a history full of Raven and Nicole Franzel's cooking, in my opinion. Like, I don't think anyone was directly harmed by the face to tortilla
You would hope that
contest.
he is going to eat his own tortilla.
Well, I don't know. Isn't the big argument he has later with like, look at all the cooking I do with Big D? Like, you know, I would imagine that maybe if they found out what Kylan was doing with his food, they'd be like, we're good. We're fine at this point. We're fine to eat at Shea Big D instead of Shea Kylan. Where's the health department shutting you down?
Yeah. Okay. All right. We got some more Kylan stuff to talk through. This was a late breaking story. The Great Hamster Watch reported this moment from the live feeds earlier today on Monday. Here we have this tweet from Hamster Watch who says of Kylan, we quote, Kylan said, former President and First Lady Michelle and Barack Obama, what's up? Not saying I'm expecting us to hang out or anything, but love to be friends or meet you one time or get a like on Instagram or Twitter. Boy, I mean, we're really going down from talk about a big opening offer and then negotiating against yourself. I'd love to hang out or meet you one time or get a like on Instagram.
I would love to see Kylan on Shark Tank. I will offer you 55% of my company for $1 million. I mean $500,000. I mean $50. I mean, I will pay you $25 to buy my company, please. Yeah, it's very clear. Maybe, and I will give Kylan credit. I wonder if over the course of this, he's realizing how ridiculous of a claim he's making, and so he's
No.
just trying
No,
to
I
walk
don't
it
think
back. Former President and First Lady Michelle and Barack Obama, what's up? Well, we
Mhm.
know that all presidents, after they leave the Oval Office, love to watch Big Brother. It has been historically proven. Jimmy Carter's got them Twitter fingers like, I hope everyone votes for Derek X for America's favorite house guest.
Yeah.
No, Jimmy Carter wouldn't want to vote Frenchie.
Yeah. If there was an ex-president who was going to be responding to shout-outs
no.
to the Big Brother live feeds, like I don't think it would be Barack Obama.
No, and I think that person would probably have maybe different preferences than Big Brother players.
Hey, Michelle, the 4th place finisher from BB23 is talking to us. Get in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, the guy who wiped the face with the tortillas coming to talk to us.
Like, no, was it the guy that voted out Tiffany? Yeah, I think so. Like, no.
No, he's dead to us.
Shut the F up, Kylan.
Yeah, no, they would be Tiffany fans above anything. I think if they were to, like, they'd invite him over to their home to be like, why did you do that to Tiffany?
Yeah. What's your problem?
What's wrong with you?
I mean, could you imagine the audacity?
I don't know. Could it be that Kylan had caught on to the fact that, I mean, Barack Obama does follow several Survivor players, right? Is not one Jamal Shipman followed by Barack Obama? Is he trying to reach out and be like, listen, I'll make a claim here. You know, you follow other reality TV contestants. Let's put me out there as well.
Perhaps also that there's a possibility that Kylan could be more popular in the Obama household than Hannah, who said that she felt as though meeting the Zingbot was equal to meeting Barack Obama.
Unless Barack Obama brings Hannah and walks out in a Zingbot costume. Oh, they said I was more robotic from 2008 to 2015. Zing. I'd be here for Zingbama, personally. I think we need to retool the Zingbot a bit as well.
After this, this is one of two. Hamster Watch then reports that Kylan went on to say, the cookout would love any sort of shout outs or acknowledgement of our existence. Love you both. While I'm going down the list, Will and Jada, same thing. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Oh, this is a miss on so many levels. First, well, I'm trying to, like, let's timeline this out. Will and Jada went Splitsville. I gotta think before they went into the Big Brother house, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like Kylan's not pulling a. Otherwise, it's Kylan pulling a.
I mean, according to unless they got back together, like I think they the summer of 2020.
Yeah, so like, well, no, I believe the summer of 2020. I think that was like the red table talk discussion of like them having an open marriage. I think they might have officially been Splitsville earlier this year, but like, yeah, this isn't a case of Janelle checking on whether Brittany had her baby. I think that this is something that was very much in the news, but Kylan still decides to couple them together. It's not a great look. Also, not a great look to just like throw them in at the last minute, right? Like if you want to get in with Will and Jada, don't make them a +1. They're the main course here, not the side dish.
Yeah, I mean, just a weird call for Kylan to go into full on like publicist for the cookout when we were looking for shout outs from celebrities.
Yeah, but also like, but why are they second on the list? Like, no offense to the Pinkett Smith household, but like, why are they next on the list? There are many other people I would want to hear from than Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith personally.
Okay.
I'd rather hear from Jaden Smith personally. I want Jaden Smith to, you know what? Jaden Smith and Kylan having a conversation. I will buy tickets to that. Just if you charge me admission to sit in a room and listen to Kylan and Jaden Smith talk circles around each other for hours at a time until both of their heads explode, I would pay premium dollar just to watch that happen.
Okay. So yeah, Kylan is working on the shout outs from the different celebrities.
Oh, do you think he's giving us soft? You know how some people like rehearse their eviction speeches ahead of time? Do you think Kylan's doing that?
You think so? That you think he will call out Barack and Michelle live on finale night, or at the eviction?
Yeah, maybe there's now maybe he's like, okay, I floated this out here. That sounds good on my tongue. much like that
Do you think that
tortilla.
maybe the tortilla like mask is something he's planning for his eviction speech?
So you think he's gonna stand up with a tortilla mask on
Mm-hmm.
and be like, "I'm sub"? Is he gonna Joey it? Is that his alter ego in the last few days of the game? He's gonna wear a tortilla mask and walk all around the house.
Maybe his eviction speech is going to be like, I'm not Kylan, I'm Tortilla Man.
Yeah, I'm Land Kai, the tortilla man. And I say you shouldn't evict Kylan, or there'll be no more tortillas in the house. I'm Land Kai, the tortilla thief.
Mm-hmm.
If you want Taco Tuesday, you better keep Kylan around, or they might escape in Kylan's bag.
I don't know what you talk about.
I've never been in the same room as this man.
All right. Should we talk about Big D?
Oh, please. Yes, because Big D is also spiraling in a very different way. Whereas Kylan knows that he is out the door and is spiraling, Big D is that rare moment in Big Brother where you are staying in the game and probably guaranteed to sit in the final 2 seats, but is still spiraling nevertheless due to things that are happening in this game.
Okay. All right, here's another clip from the live feeds. This comes to us from Reality TV Buff. R Buff 99 captured this clip. Let's listen to Derek F talk about his Big Brother legacy.
I wonder if people are going to think I'm a legend.
In what sense?
You know, when you see Big Brother players,
I don't know if there's more to this thought.
I think if you scroll down, then maybe there's another one here.
Okay, multi-part clip. Okay, all right. I think he's holding for audio. He's like, oh, they won't use this.
Yeah, exactly.
On
the slop.
and also
I think these are all people though that are considered greats, but in terms of strategy, like all the people you're mentioning, strategy greats.
Yeah, I want to know if I'm going to be
as
infamous.
well would be up there.
Yeah.
As well as Paul. As well
Right.
too.
I want to know if I'm going to be infamous.
But like, I think that even then, I'm thinking like, I feel like almost then we're into the. I think it takes a little bit of time almost past to differentiate legend versus great. Maybe that's another factor too. It's time.
Well, if we factor in infamous, Mike, I think the actual answer is yes, clearly.
Yep, I
F
think
will always be remembered.
if there is an absolute value for fame, right? Whether it's fame or infamy, Derek F absolutely has that. He will be famous in Big Brother history in a way that like Logan Paul is famous in our society, right? Of like famous of, ugh. That's the connotation.
Are you saying that he's going to be part of the next celebrity net fights?
Well, listen, he got an invite, right? That'd be wild if that was the thing. Like, Big D, Jose has actually asked you to box him. Like, who the hell is that? What the hell is that? And no, I'm not doing that. Does it involve me getting up? No, I'm not going to do it. But I mean, look, Big D isn't wrong. Legend is often a term that you use for deciphering something, right? A legend can say what represents what. And I think now Big D will be used as a legend to discern a game that people will not want to play. Essentially, it is going to become the new, like, much like French with some sort of euphemism for the F word. Big D will serve as like a substitute for a bad player. Like in Big Brother 16, right? When Zach Rand says that if you look up floater in the dictionary, it's Gen City and you. I think that Big D's name will indeed live on in infamy. I would not be surprised in BB24, people are going to be mocking other house guests saying like, you're just as good as Big D in this game.
Look, well, Mike, that, scoff all you want, but Peridium let us know on Twitter this week. Hear me out. Big D is about to be the second person in Big Brother history, including BB Can, OTT, and Celebrity Big Brother, 30-plus seasons, to reach the final 3 without winning a single HOH and POV the entire season. The only other person to accomplish this incredible goal, Dr. Will Kirby.
Yes, but BB22 didn't have a veto in it. So that's twice as many competitions that Big D participated in that he still lost. 3 times if you consider all the high roller wild card shenanigans that ensued too.
Okay. All right. Well, Big D, he was asked by the people that run his Twitter account for what has been Big D's contributions to the game.
And this is going to be good because I think this is a precursor to finale night, right? Like I can imagine that one of the jurors is going to stand up and be like, Big D, you were so much fun to have. You're great to take to Vegas, but what have you done in this game? I think we're getting a nice little measured response as to what Big D's resume is looking at this point. We've invited him over. We've looked at Indeed.com. Let's print it out and let's take a look at what he has here.
Okay. So Big D's friends who run his Twitter account, they answered the question of is Big D a strategic mastermind? Okay. What did he do to get to this point? And let me bring this response up for you. And here we go. The Derek Frazier Twitter account said in response to Rob Dylan 11, cigarettes ran out week 3. He has a great social game. He came in second in like 3 comps, did well in the balance beam. He cleaned the entire house multiple times, was emotional support for a lot of house guests. He kept his cool and didn't pop off on anybody like he normally would. Give him the check.
I want to break down every point of this because it just gets even better.
Down,
I love, speaking of breakdown, the like narrative they are painting of week 3. I ran out of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like that is supposed to be the inherent underdog narrative is like, I came in here an addict a month in. I ran out of my fix, but I was able to persevere and push through in like 3 competitions.
Yeah. Makes it seem like he's a bad planner. The ran out of cigarettes week 3. Did he quit smoking week 3?
I don't know, because I believe with Big Brother, I believe unless like your dick and your cigarettes get ruined, like I believe you can only bring as many cigarettes, like that's your supply for the entire season. You could certainly bum cigarettes off of other
season worth of cigarettes and smoke them all by week 3.
Yeah, that's bad asset management, in my opinion. Like, if
I feel like they only let you outside like 2 hours a week.
Yeah, I think maybe that leads to like him cleaning the house multiple times. He's just so like frenetic and like frenzied on nicotine withdrawal. He's like, all right, just gotta go around and clean the house the entire time. I mean, that's also very like actually, you know what? I know one person who could take this, and now I realize who is running Big D's social media accounts. It makes so much sense. This is Sam from BB23.
Oh. Yes, that she was a cleaner.
She was a cleaner. I believe she also ran out of cigarettes, right? She told Fessy, I will, or not told it, but she did smoke, right? She told Fessy, I will quit smoking if you nominate Haley. I believe was one of her sterling pitches. She was emotional support for a lot of the house guests. Now, I wouldn't say she kept her cool and popped off like anyone like she normally would, unless there is a level beyond threatening to curb stomp somebody. But there is a lot of similarities between these games. Just throw the robot in.
Balancing involved with curb stomping?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're balancing on the curb, I suppose it's tough to do considering that 1 foot is going to be on the air.
Yeah, I like that point also. He did well in the balance beam.
Yeah, of all the competitions, like, is the balance beam the indicator? The thing that separates the men from the boys here from this perspective? Like, well, Xavier did not do well on that balance beam. And everyone's like, oh, yes. Oh, hubbub. Yes, the balance beam, of course. That's the hallmark conversation in Big Brother.
And I like that he cleaned the entire house multiple times, not just once.
Exactly. Like it came up on the chore wheel, but he did it more than once. To the point where when Big Brother said clean the house, he was the one to complain about it.
Mike, do you feel like that, in the Survivor Final Tribal Council, I feel like, we have like sort of like the outwit, outplay, and outlast. I'm not really sure where camp life factors in, but I do feel like that it comes up a little bit in the Final Tribal Council. I don't really recall it coming up, especially not like in the last 20 years, too much in the final Big Brother questioning, where the house guests mentioned how much they cleaned the house. They kept the house clean all summer.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, though. I think this is a great idea, Rob. We have outwit, outplay, outlast in Survivor, which is now guided into Final Tribal Council discussion. Why can't we change Big Brother to the 3 C's? cigarettes, comps, and cleaning. Let's start with the cigarettes portion of the questioning. How many cigarettes have each of you smoked this season?
How many did you smoke? How quick did you smoke them?
Yeah, that's it. They're like, oh, very efficient. Yes. Oh, good. Wow, that's a lot of that. Really burned through them quite literally. All right, number 2. Not how many comps did you win? How many did you come second in?
Mhm. Yeah.
And number 3, how many times did you clean that house? And you know what? I'm going to toss a dirty dish at you. Clean it right now. Show me how good you are. That's the take out your teeth moment on Pig Brothers. Clean this dish.
Okay. We have one more Derek F post to talk about. Derek F is in a little bit of a precarious position this week. He's faced with potentially having to vote Kylan out of the game on Wednesday night.
Yeah, and that's his
so,
BB kiss. That's going to be tough. Do you think they'll have a similar embrace after it happens?
Well, we'll find out. So here is this thought from Big D. He, doesn't want to have to, let Kylan know it was him. So he says, I'm hoping I'm crying when I come out the door, so no one knows who I voted for. Xavier says, wait, no, that's not how it works. You're not going into the diary room. Derek says, X, I'm saying it in front of everyone. Oh my God.
Yeah, and this is when like the sounds of silence play, right? As it focuses in on his face of like, oh no, no, this is my worst nightmare.
Yes. Mike, do you think that Xavier could hand Derek F a pair of tortillas that he could hide behind during I sadly to a vote Kylan?
Yeah, though I don't know if Landkai hasn't walked away with all of them at this point, knowing that he's going. I think he could bum a couple. I ran out of tortillas 3 weeks in. And I still persevered in this game. Yeah, this is amazing. I really wish that Xavier didn't tell him, just for the image of Derek F now getting up and like walking to the diary room and Julie being like, hold on, can you hold it, park it there, and like him opening the door being like, it's locked. Heavens to Joseph, it's locked. Pulling a Rennie from that perspective. But this means, Big D has to do the sadly to evict or to a vote. I mean, this is interesting, right? This is the first time he is sort of doing his quote unquote public speaking. Every other time has been in the diary room. Will the flavor change here? Will his demeanor change? What will come out of his mouth on Thursday? He knows he has to evict Kylan, but what will be the words that precede that name?
I think he might just blurt it out.
He's going to be like, all right, Kylan, here we go. It's like, oh, okay, well, never mind. That's going to be the triple eviction reveal of the season, right? He's going to be like, all right, I guess I have to evoke Kylan. Let me stand up and do this. Like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that I evicted him.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to try to say that, like, I didn't want to do this, but they made me, or if he's going to go back and forth about, like, if he's trying to own this big move.
I tried to go into the diary room. They locked me out, so I guess I have to say it here.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a wild idea that he has to be the one to do it. And again, it'll be a really nice prologue to what we're going to be experiencing a week from Wednesday, where it's going to be Big D against the jury. I mean, look, we had a treat with Enzo. I think we are going to get a feast with Derek Frazier. This is going to be he's guaranteed final 2 at this point, no matter what. It's going to be very fun. It's going to be delusions to the greatest level, with him also being unable to express said delusions, having people, because they don't give a crap at this point, the jury. They're not trying to, play things and swallow all his BS to like keep working with him in the game. They don't care. They will most likely laugh in his face. And so Big D's going to have to react to that. It's going to be a really interesting, I'm glad they made the finale 2 hours now so that we could really get into this jury questioning and just grill Big D for a long time.
Okay. Mike, I've got something that I'm very excited to talk about. This comes to us from Instagram, from Christian Birkenberger. Had a Instagram story that he posted of something that he is actively working on. Big finale plans coming up.
Okay. Well, listen, he is one of the pre-jury people. Christian's had a great social media game, so let's see what his plans are. I'm
Do you
sure
want
it's
to
something
speak to
good.
that at all, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, Christian has been one of the most active people, right? Like, he's still doing watch parties, which I'm saying, like, read the room, Christian. I don't think we should necessarily be doing that, but
Mhm.
I do think he seems good-hearted. He is probably the closest thing to a labradoodle that we've ever seen on Big Brother. So, like, I can't necessarily be like, oh, look at this fame-hungry man doing this. Like, he does seem like legitimately having his heart in the right place, even if the, execution is not necessarily there. I also will notice that he uses the hashtag Christian Birkin sometimes, right? Like, doesn't he abbreviate his last name on certain occasions?
I think he uses a ton of hashtags on his Instagram. I think he has like a set list of hashtags that he uses, and that might be one of them.
Interesting. Why?
If you want, I can hit the hashtag and see how many tweets have been used with his hashtags.
Well, I'm just intrigued by this idea of like abbreviating your last name, right? Because
he has hashtag Christian Burke.
Christian Burke. Actually, I kind of like Christian Burke more than Christian Birkenberger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're all like all of the tweets that have used there have been 17 posts with hashtag Christian Burke, and they're all of him.
Is this like a Wyatt Nash thing, you think? Like when he breaks out of doing lottery commercials, he's going to go by his stage name, Christian Burke?
Birkenberger.
Well, I don't know. Like, I guess this begs the question. Like, Rob, would you shorten your last name to make for a better hashtag?
I mean, there is no way that my last name could be worse for a hashtag.
Okay,
so,
if we called you, can we call you like Rob Sestino? Do you think that would flow better?
I think that's what Regis called me.
Rob Sestino.
Yeah, let's bring him out.
Yeah, I think we should try on the Rob Sestino jacket for a little while. See, like if
no, I mean, like, what are we losing? Like 3 letters?
Listen, it's an entire syllable. I think that does say something. It flows a little bit easier off the tongue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like Rob Nino. I think that's another one. That's like El Nino, but with you.
Now, hold on, Mike. I just realized something as I'm on Christian's Instagram. Check this out because this is gonna blow your mind.
Okay.
All right. Mike, tell me, let me bring up this picture of Christian. Tell me, where have you seen this look before?
Oh no! Land Kai was Christian the entire time.
Here's Christian with the power of veto, seemingly with a tortilla on his face.
Yeah, like that's maybe that's the thing. Kylan maybe mistook the tortilla for a mask. He's like, oh, I remember the salad days when it was me and Xavier and Christian doing the whole Frankenstein thing with these. Let me poke some holes out and try to relive those days when things were better out for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
but maybe this is Christian Burke. That's his serial killer name.
It is spooky season. All right. So let's go back to Christian on Instagram. He had a post on his Instagram stories that he posted this photo that says, please help make this happen. We would get great post BB content if we had a reunion house. BB23 post-season reunion, looking for an Airbnb / private house for all 16 house guests, September 28th to October 3rd, Hollywood / Beverly Hills area. Please message us if you know / have a place in mind. Offers and discount are appreciated.
All right. Well, I got a great place for you, Christian Burke. It's called the RHAP B&B. It's fictional, but you can absolutely stay there. Let's have the entire 16-person cast booked. What a stupid idea. Sorry, Christian, again, you mean well, but this is only coming from But of course, that's the thing. If you really want to troll your old landlord, you could be like, oh, I got this place in mind. Mm-hmm. This is a good place to hole up 16 people. Only a pre-jury house guest would say, all right, listen, Xavier, Big D, Azza, you lived in this house for 80 days. Want to go for another week with all the same people?
Yeah.
But only in a different area, moving like 15 miles away from where it was previously?
Yeah. Hey, are you all ready to hang out with Travis and Frenchie and Brent?
Yeah, that's specifically like, oh, yeah, I hope you're excited to have Brent back in your lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. who wanted this? I mean, does anybody on the live feeds talked about how that they are looking for to live in an Airbnb with all of the 16 house guests again?
But like, why would this
Isn't
would
there
be
a
like
lot of bad blood in this season?
this would be like going on to Survivor and being like, I hope the plane crashes on another island because man, I could do for 39 more days of this.
Yeah, on the plane home at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh well, out of the frying pan into the fire, right? Like, I might as well have the momentum going. No, these people, even the people in the jury, right, are like probably getting stir crazy at this point of like, no, I want to see my family. Don't put me up for another week at an Airbnb in California.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, actually, you know what? I know exactly what this attendance is going to be. It's going to be Christian. It's going to be Alyssa.
Frenchie.
It's going to be Frenchie. It's going to be Brent. It's going to be Travis. And it's going to be Christy. She's going to show up like, guys, I finally made it. I'm part of the crew.
I'm not sure Alyssa's going to make it. I think it's just going to be the pre-jury people minus Whitney.
Well, I think that it's Christian would be like, come on, like come just join. Like Alyssa will come for 2 days.
Yes, and Maximus' mom adds, Tommy would 100% show up, and Caitlin Herman will stop by too.
Oh my god, I'm here.
That's it. This is well. I hope it happens.
Well, it's not going to happen because this is a wild proposition to make. These people have arguably gone through PTSD over the course of an extended period of time playing this game. Do you really want to be like, listen, I know you're probably sick as hell of us. Why don't you give it another week? Your families can wait. Come on. One more stay for us. I don't think that this cast will beef as badly as Big Brother 22 did when they got out of the house. I do think there will be some
BB21.
That's true. I think there will be some broken hearts and definitely some broken spirits, especially from this endgame stuff. So yeah, I would expect that people would be like, I'm good. Do you think if Christian goes to the finale, is he gonna like eagerly approach everyone in the jury and being like, all right, can you like chip in a little? Hey, Xavier, congratulations on your $750,000. So that means I know you can't possibly miss out on paying a little bit of money for this Airbnb. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and do you think you get some extra tortillas from when we get the tacos that Kylan's been putting his face on them? It's like super weird.
Wait, he's what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this is
I'm
just
living
a
for
wild
this.
idea.
Please make it happen. Please make it happen, Christian and your team.
Christian Burke, please track us on the progress of this as well. Like, please tell us daily how many people are signed on, how many significant others are signed on. I also want to make that happen. If not all 16 sign on, please sign on various people's +1s.
Mike, I also want to shout out Jade, who is an RHAP listener, and I had asked for, I needed a Instagram live correspondent that could be watching all the Instagram lives, and she does the Lord's work. I love that you mentioned the Lord. That she goes.
That's my favorite person.
Yes. She goes and she watches all of these house guests Instagram lives, and then she reports back to me. She said recently on one of Brent's Instagram lives where among the other highlights, Brent allegedly got a cameo request to give himself a wedgie, which he did not do. And also,
wait.
Yes?
Can we hang on that for a second? Because that's incredible. We have like already in a couple of years, we have already started bullying people over cameo.
I guess like, hey, like here's $40, punch yourself in the face.
Yeah, like it's like, all right, here's $60. Go stick your head in a toilet and record yourself doing it. Like, this is, I think, a true psychological experiment towards like the idea of internet celebrity, right?
Yeah. So what Jade reported was that Brent said that the pre-jury people are not going to be at the finale. So
oh boy,
I don't know if the pre-jurors are just like crashing the finale, and that's why Christian needs a place to stay.
So they're like launching themselves over the wall, like, "Dadgum, let me in! Come on!"
Well, I think that they're like, "Hey, where are the parties at?" Again, like there is still like that nagging, pesky pandemic also still going on.
Just a smidge. And so, like, here come the super spreaders crawling over the wall, like, come on, live with us for a week. Don't you want to?
Yeah, not sure how many post finale parties are coming up.
Oh, I'm
on,
really excited for because I guess they could do what they did last season, right? And do like a pre-jury segment in that Sunday night show of like, let's talk with the pre-jury. I'm really excited for the backgrounds, for the Zoom backgrounds of everybody. Like, is Frenchie's going to be on the farm? Will Brent's be inside a plane? You know, how much are they going? Because they really leaned into those people's professions. Will they do the same thing here?
I have no idea. We'll see. Remember, was it Keisha had all those masks?
Yeah, exactly. Like you could tell a lot about someone's interior decoration and their gameplay, I suppose, based on their choice of style. So
Yep.
maybe we'll get a perspective into like maybe Frenchie's Funhouse will truly be seen in all its glory.
All right, Mike. We got some other big news today.
Oh,
A few
okay.
weeks ago, back in August, we watched the first ever Celebrity Net Fights Spectacular.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yep, that was an experience. That was not since the Suicide Squad, or not Suicide Squad, the first movie, have I ever had 2 hours of my life that I wish I could get back.
Mhm. Yeah. Mike, are you ready to do it again?
No, I'm absolutely not. Don't ding that bell. Don't get me back in the ring. I'm not ready for round 2.
I didn't hear no bell. Yeah, let's get ready. Round 2. Celebrity Net Fights has been announced, and there's already a lineup card.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right, Mike. So let me tell you about who's going to be battling in the next
Oh my God.
Celebrity
Well,
Net Fights.
We arguably scraped the bottom of the barrel with this first batch. We are going through the bottom of the barrel and digging into the ground and then some in this one, I'm assuming. I would be surprised if this is even a Big Brother event only.
Well, Mike, I have some news for you. It is not a
What?
Big Brother only event.
Wait, what? They just opened it up?
Yeah, let me look good. Yeah, so you have not seen the fight card.
No,
So
what is this, like a parts of reality, but with punching each other in the face? Is that the way to describe it?
okay,
That's how they should market themselves.
yeah, let's bring in they should do it at Hearts of Reality. All right, Mike, here's our card. All right, let's here's bout number 1 on the brand new Celebrity Net Fights 2.
No.
Cam the Cobra Armstrong is taking on Scotty Sweet Tooth Sultan.
No, Scotty from BB20 is not going to box someone. This can't be reality.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense that he's boxing.
I forgot about that.
Why is there against Scotty?
This doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And C, it doesn't make sense.
I couldn't put it a better way myself. Scotty, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hey.
Yeah, Mike, for the uninitiated like myself, tell me about Cam the Cobra Armstrong.
I mean, he has a badass name besides Sweet Tooth. Now I'm thinking of Scotty's wearing like a little sailor suit and a lollipop. That's the first thing I think of when I think of Sweet Tooth. Cam Armstrong, I think he's on from X on the Beach.
Yes.
So again, I think we have a fantastic representation of the aesthetic that we're going for here. Is we got some Big Brother people, but we also have Cam Armstrong from X on the Beach.
Yeah. Well, and remind me again also why I don't need to know why Cam's nickname is the Cobra. But why is Scotty's nickname Sweet Tooth Sultan, if anything?
Oh,
is he going for all of the taste buds?
Yeah, exactly. Like bitter tongue Sultan. Yeah, maybe that's it. Is that he's a little bit of sweet and salty, you know? I mean, it's tough. I think if you even asked Scotty, he would reply that he didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
But I think we missed the card here. Why is Scotty not going up against Fessy? Like, this is a grudge match right here, right?
Well,
like Scott
involved in Celebrity Net Fights too.
Well, I think he got out really lucky, right? Where he like took one hit on John Party and was like, I win. Yeah. Right. But yeah, I think that like that's got to be the thing. Is like you got to have people who have legitimate grudges for each other duke it out.
No, that's not what they do on Celebrity Net Fights, Mike. You don't get it. Okay. Random people fighting for no reason. Okay.
Yeah, they're like, we're not getting better than like bum fights at this point. I'm like, all right, here's two people
All
that
right.
just throw them in a
Okay,
ring.
well, here's two other random people, Mike. All right, here we go. How about bout number 2 is John Luke, the Flow Show Kuiper versus Renan, Pretty Boy Hellmans. Okay, Mike, we're being pranked, right? That neither of these people have ever been on a reality show.
Well, I remember John Luke from BB Can 8. I remember
Okay.
that. So I remember there was a guy named John Luke because it was not John Luke Picard, unfortunately. Renan, I mean, I would not be surprised if this was like the heir to the Elman's mayonnaise fortune, and he decided to get into reality TV and celebrity
According
boxing.
to Sam, he says that Renan is on the challenge.
Oh, you know who it is? Renan was partnered up with Michaela Bradshaw and was eliminated in the first episode. Okay. So this is truly the dregs of the dregs at this point.
Okay.
This is
he
the
was
fat
on X
off
on
the
the
fat.
beach also. Renan.
Is that it's Big Brother versus X on the Beach now is the card for the second season apparently?
Apparently. Okay. All right, Mike. Okay, fight number 3. If that doesn't tickle your fancy, okay.
Oh, my fancy is far from tickled at this point.
How about this? Godfrey is back
to
take on Trey, Black Hercules Forte.
I remember Trey from Love Island, so I also love that.
Love Island.
Yeah, this is really like one of these things is not like the other, where it's like, all right, I was on Big Brother. Yeah, a camera was pointed at my face at some point on a major network. Put boxing gloves on me, please. Interesting. Godfrey's making a return appearance here. This is like the Entertainer appearing on 2 separate seasons of I Love Money. I would not expect it.
Oh, well, Godfrey, that he wasn't even in a legitimate fight against Enzo because Enzo was too old.
Yeah, that's true. So now I guess he's got to go up against someone who's much younger, and Hercules, nonetheless.
Yes. All right. Then after that, okay. How about this? A women's match. Sid Vicious Langston takes on Lauren, the Scorpion Queen Coogan.
Okay, I guess
people.
Someone's related to The Rock, I suppose, if we're going with the Scorpion Queen. Sydney is, Rob, stop me if you've heard this before, from X on the Beach.
Sydney from X on the Beach is taking on Lauren from Love Island. All right. Lauren, the Scorpion Queen Coogan, rolls off the tongue.
Well, I think we know what the fast forward button is going to be doing during the course of this match, but I think it is live. Who asked for this one? What was this like? Well, I think you talked about this a bit, right? About like planning out the card matchup. Some of it was like, all right, I guess Maddie will fight Rockstar because like nobody else is really left. I guess Sid Vicious versus the Scorpion Queen is a matchup that nobody was really talking about. I'm convinced now that somebody from Celebrity Net Fights was a cameraman for X on the Beach. It was just like, I run boxing.
I know these people. Yeah.
You want to punch someone in the face for a little bit?
Yeah. They're used to fighting with their ex. They'll fight in the ring. All right. Bout number 5. The hits keep coming. Adam the Marine Pike is back to take on Jack Daddy Longlegs Atkins.
First, stop calling.
It's Emily.
He's going to come out in full makeup, caked on a mannequin. I have so many questions about this. First off, Jack is legitimately going to die in this matchup. Jack has no muscle mass whatsoever.
Maybe he's been training.
With who?
Xander from Survivor.
Oh yeah, his frat bro. Xander's gonna that they're both hollow-headed tools. I mean, he is 205 pounds, so maybe he put on some muscle mass. But like, also, let's stop nicknaming people from the circle Daddy. Okay, between Daddy Longlegs and Daddy Nick, I don't want any more circle daddies.
Yeah. Okay.
But Adam's coming back here too, right? I believe he bested. Was he the one that knocked out Nick Macaroni?
I hope so. All right. Then after that, Mike, here's another one. It's Carlos Poppy Cezanne Garcia taking on Camille the Polish Hammer Nikalik.
Who are these? Okay, I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark. Was one of them on X on the Beach? Was one of them on X on the Beach?
X on the Beach versus somebody from, I'm gonna say, Candy Crush.
Yeah, Sugar Crush. Oh, that should have been Scotty's nickname, Sugar Crush.
All right, Mike, here you go. This is a little bit of a curveball here. Carlos is from Paradise Hotel.
Wait, like the
And-
2005 one with
And I think
Tony
there was a
Ferrari?
I think there was a newer reboot.
Oh
And
God,
then
why?
Camille is from The Bachelor.
Okay.
Both from
Interesting.
love dating shows.
Ooh, so are they looking for love? Look out, Sid Vicious. These guys are coming after your heart. Whoever wins a date with the winner of the previous matchup. I like this
Mhm.
idea. Maybe we could do that.
Okay. All right. Next fight is
Jesus Christ, they are stacking this
Okay,
lineup.
now we're at the featured bout. Okay, now these are
Okay,
getting
this
good,
was just the
okay?
appetizer. Okay.
All right, here we go. This is now this is like big time now. Featured bout: Ray, Sweet Baby Gant.
Oh, it's
taking
double of it's
on
boxing match, sweet
Bryce,
baby.
the Hammer Hirschberg.
Why is everyone a hammer? I don't want a toolbox with all these hammers in them. I
Okay.
need
All
occasional
right.
other tools.
Mike, tell me about Ray, Sweet Baby Gant.
Oh, our sweet, sweet baby. I don't want to call
Dude,
him.
From Love Island.
Oh, and I believe he was actually from the delayed season of The Amazing Race as well, was he not?
Oh, okay. Well, he got an axe to grind. He's pissed. And
Exactly.
Bryce, do you remember when he showed up on Too Hot to Handle?
No, that's this guy, the man who lived on a boat and played them as music. No, this man can't be getting in a boxing
Yeah,
ring.
he's getting in the ring.
Is he gonna play his own music?
I don't know. It's sweet chin music.
Oh my God. They brought in Bryce from Too Hot to Handle, who I think was the only cast member to actually listen to the coverage of Too Hot to Handle as well.
Mhm.
He's going to be boxing. He's going to beat up this sweet baby. Wow,
Mhm.
that's wild to me.
Yeah.
Do you
okay.
think maybe if they restart The Amazing Race, these two could be a new team?
Perhaps. Also, do you think that Daddy Nick could get his way into Celebrity Nut Fights 3?
Oh, I don't know. I think Vince could, but I don't know about Nick.
Okay. All right. Then another featured bout. Here we go. Featured championship battle.
Ooh.
Madeline Batty Maddie D'Annunzio is putting her title on the line against newlywed Peely the Spicy Latina Martin.
Oh, you know, if this was a wrestling match, though, there would be a tag team, right? Where like Kevin Martin comes in and body slams Maddie or something like that. Where like they're still wearing their wedding outfits or something.
Yeah.
Look at Maddie defending her title here.
Yes.
You know,
Defending her
she had a
title
little
that
bit
she won against Rockstar.
Yeah, now the question is she still going to encourage her students to watch her box now for the second time?
I don't know.
That's the one thing I remember is that she's a substitute teacher because Peter Brown loved to make reference to it during the course of boxing.
She was a substitute teacher.
Call it a salad because she's eating her up. Not like I like that.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. Mike, you ready for another featured battle?
Oh, no.
The heavyweight championship of Celebrity Night Fights.
Oh.
When Ed,
No.
the sickest
No.
dude Eason,
No.
takes on
No.
Paulie,
No.
the Lion,
No.
Calafiore.
No.
I remember all my ride or dies from the beginning. I see who flip-flops. I see who comes back when the time's good. I see who leaves when the time's bad.
Stay punching
Crushing
it.
it.
No.
That's actually a good
No.
match. That's the one on the card. I'm like, all right, I watch that.
It's only because we want to see Paulie get punched in the face. Like Ed has actually, if people have been following Ed on the challenge, he's actually like a really solid dude. He seems to be like the big fun rookie that everyone seems to love. Paulie is obviously quite the opposite. There is a grudge match there too, right? Paulie's like, I was not on the show anymore, so I'm gonna take you out. That's my show.
I am gonna be on Celebrity Net Fights, Ed. That I'm the only reality star that has a famous brother who's also appearing on the same show as me.
Exactly. Now listen, Ed, you might play with your mother, but I kiss mine on the mouth.
My brother Cody.
Yeah. What was Ed's
Oh.
brother's name from what was it?
Mitchell.
Mitchell? I think we were pro Mitchell. Yeah.
I like the Eason brothers. I think
Yeah.
the Eason family is very fun. Like Mitchell was the better personality on the circle, and Ed I think is
Yeah.
showing his fun loving stuff on the challenge too.
Like these are both the two like rough around the edges brothers.
Yeah, exactly. But like
They
fun
need
loving
Venus also.
and like non-problematic. And I think that it'll be interesting. Look, I don't know how Jacob Jones is going to react to having to stand
These are
next
the
to Carm.
non-problematic brothers.
Yeah, because I think by comparison with Paulie, I just fear for Jacob Jones having to stand next to Cara Maria when he has to be sent to go witness these fights again. When are these fights happening?
I don't know. So let me know, chat. Let me know the dates. I want to say it's December, and I think it's in Canada.
Oh, this is interesting. Paulie's like, this is prime weather. I went for the bobsled team, so I'm ready for
December 6th.
winter.
Yeah, I'm taking a quick break from my bobsled training, but I will not be making any more pies.
Oh, okay. December 11th. So
December 11th.
early stocking stuffer here, as someone's bound to get stuffed. Oh my god! And I think this has to be also a recruitment from Miss Candace Kane too, right? Who I believe puts Paulie and her brother in her movies. That like all these people are going to show up in her films too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Linda in the chat says, Will and Jada Smith are not getting a divorce as of 3 days ago anyway.
Why are you reading that in Paulie's
I don't know. That's once you get in Calafiore voice. Yeah.
Paulie tabloids.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you think Paulie's going to walk out covered in butterflies, waving an American flag and crying?
I hope so. All right, Celebrity Net Fights coming soon. Card subject to change if Celebrity Net Fights won was any indication.
Well, that's the other thing. There's a little matter of getting people over the border. I believe it's much easier to get Canadians into the U.S. than vice versa. So good luck to everyone having to make that travel north. Otherwise, X on the Beach crew, your bench is getting even deeper.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Mike, one last thing. Last night was the 2021 Emmys, which preempted Big Brother. I was trying to explain this to my son, Dominic, the other day, as to say why Big Brother was on Friday. I told him that there's no Big Brother on Sunday because it's the Emmys. And he said, Dad, what are the Emmys? I said, well, that's the awards that they give out to all the best TV shows. And he looked at me and said, oh, you mean like Big Brother? And I said, no, actually, not like.
What do you think if they're like, the nominees are Big Brother? Is it going to be a clip of like, Kylie? Like, just sing by coming in like, oh no, Big D doesn't get up off the couch. They're like,
Do you think Zingbot would accept the Emmys, or do you think that Julie Chen Moonves would accept the Emmys?
Well, I would love both, because I would love Zingbot to come out and be like, I'd like to accept the award on behalf of all the losers.
Julie Chen Moonves, I'd like to start off by thanking God.
I feel God in this theater tonight.
Feel God. Yes.
I'd like to thank Big D.
All right, Mike, lots of TV shows racked up Emmys at the 2021 Emmy Awards. We thought it might be a fun exercise to take a look at what else is on the 2021 TV landscape and say which award-winning television shows would be the cast of Big Brother 23.
Wait, I'm also realizing Julie Chen Moonves as accepting would be incredible, because she'd be like, thank you all so much, and remember, be the good. I'm Julie Chen Moonves. Good night. People are like, oh, that's an odd statement.
Be not afraid.
There's some programming in my ear. I forgot my speech. Ooh, Cedric the Entertainer.
Ooh.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Mike, let's take a look at some of the award-winning television shows.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like this. So we're comparing some of the nominated shows from this year to the current Big Brother house guests. Okay, I have one right off the bat. Claire is absolutely Pen 15.
Pen 15. Okay, why?
Because I think she absolutely represents that like awkward, adorkable middle school energy. There's a lot of dorkiness around her. She resembles one of the leads as well. Like, I think she very much has that 2000s hair as well. Don't be talking to Calvin on the circle about 2000s hair. But I think Claire very much embodies the entirety of what Pen 15 is.
Okay, I could see it. All right. Let's talk about another show. Ted Lasso. Won a lot of awards.
Yeah, so Ted Lasso is something that is right. Like let's talk through some criteria, right? It
Yeah.
has to be incredibly upbeat and positive, but like some people feel like it's almost too positive and like putting on a bit too much. So there's a little bit of pushback. There's a lot of like
Maybe
fun-loving
yeah.
energy.
Some people feel like little too syrupy sweet, maybe trying a little too hard.
That's Brittany, is it not?
Heck yeah, man. Ooh, okay, cool.
And so her like her Roy Kent speech is "Ah!" I think that has to be one. And also like she's an athlete too, right? She's like, get ready for the veto, like feels like her pump up speech.
Mm-hmm. What about the Mandalorian, Mike? Mandalorian won plenty of awards.
Okay, so the Mandalorian is something that I think we'd say like we were sort of meh on in the beginning, right? We didn't know a lot about it because it was Star Wars, but it ends up being very beloved. It focuses around
hugely popular.
Focuses around something young. Feels like it brings new life into the game.
Yeah, Mando is famous for wearing a costume.
Okay, so what are you thinking?
Sounds like Derek X to me.
Ooh, Derek X. Ooh, Mando.
May I call you Baby Grogu?
Oh God, it's double eviction, Baby Grogu. Yeah, I love this. I love this idea because, like, Derek, it was not very well known, but like catches on, being beloved. Like, doesn't know a lot about. It's an access point for a lot of people who don't know about the Star Wars universe, much like Derek X. So I like this. Very like underdog, upstart, but very scrappy at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Mike, another show that won a lot of awards was The Crown.
Oh, okay. So this is an interesting one because, like, do we go with Tiffany because she's like the queen and she did all these machinations behind the scenes? I like that, but I also like Tiffany for the Queen's Gambit as well. But I don't know. Like, I think Tiffany
does have a chessboard.
Yeah, like she works her plan with a chessboard. But I also I might pick Hannah for the Queen's Gambit because I think that isn't like Anna Taylor-Joy's character like young. It's about this like young chess prodigy, someone that people doubted at first, but ends up like being underestimated. I think the Queen's Gambit is more so Hannah's territory. So I'll go with The Crown for Tiffany. She was the queen of this game. She did all these like private string pulling behind the scenes. She did things that made people not like her from a certain perspective, like having to eschew people that she loved in honor of quote unquote the crown, as it were. So I think that is incredibly fitting. And I think, unfortunately, the Crown walks away with many more wins than she did.
And how about The Flight Attendant? Television show.
Brent, that's Brent Champagne, is it not?
Any other Emmy award-winning shows that you want to highlight?
Yeah, so I think Cobra Kai is Frenchie.
Yeah.
Right, this like very wizened old man of just like, I got it back in me, like no more meatheads, I got a spirit in me, sweep the leg, all that jazz. I think very much is that for like Frenchie has that very William Zabka attitude. I would say that The Boys, which is a superhero show that got nominated, I think that's Kyland. I think that between his predilection to supporting The Boys, in addition to the fact that he is a superhero fan, it's not the Superman versus Batman BS that Tiffany, that Tiffany mentioned, or Land Kai, but the tortilla stealer. But I think that's very much Kyland. Bridgerton. I think we've got to get like some sort of romance thing in here. Is this like Alyssa and Xavier? You think of like the higher court flirtation going on?
I just don't know if that is the showmance, but I'm not sure that their story is the same as that of the Duke and the lady on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Like nobody's I don't think Xavier's writing like secret letters, or I don't know. I haven't watched Bridgerton, so I don't exactly know the plot of it. Christian. Christian's RuPaul's Drag Race. And which is a weird pick, but he turned so many looks over the course of his 5 weeks in the game.
So many.
that he's like, all right, he's ready to hit the runway, right? Like category is Burke realness. And he burked the runway. That's why it's Christian Burke.
Perfect.
Yes, Burke. Yes, King on the Kings team.
All right. Well, congratulations to all of the BB23 cast for their many Emmy Award wins from Sunday night for the shows that personified them best. All right, Mike,
and also, I would say this was not nominated this year, but Travis is the White Lotus.
Set in Hawaii.
He's set in Hawaii, right? Like very mansion side. I don't know if Mike White is a fan of Big Brother, but maybe Travis will make an appearance in season 2.
Yeah, he would fit right in working at the hotel. All right. So, Mike, what else about BB23? Any other thoughts at this point in time?
I also like the comment from Jillian. Kyland is Bo Burnham's inside because he's lost his mind while he's trapped inside. Yeah, I can imagine like a Bo Burnham does a song where there's a tortilla over his face as he's talking about rambling to himself about nothing in particular. Just shout out to Obama.
Yeah. All right, Mike, we're a week and a half away from the finale.
I still cannot. We have what, 5 episodes left with 4 people remaining. This is this season's got a bubble butt. The end of it is just big.
Oh my god!
I don't think I could describe a season like that before.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts about Big Brother, Mike?
No, I mean, look, we'll still have exit press going on. We're both going to be talking with the 4th place person. What I will say is, I've still been enjoying this season. I still really do like the cast. I don't think they're going to be on the level where they're going to want to share a timeshare together for a week extended after the show. But I think it's a really good group of people. Like, I'm excited. I love the jury house segments, actually. I think this past week might have been one of my favorite jury houses in recent memory of like, just a really fun group of people, especially when the facade of the game wears away and it's just like, yeah, F you, Sarah Beth. But at the same time, we love you, Sarah Beth. Like, let's all sit around and bag on Kyland and Big D as an example. That I'm excited to see these people get along with each other in jury. What I will say, I think what this crystallized for me about Big Brother is I think we have specifically an endgame problem in Big Brother. And this is not to denigrate the historical achievement of the cookout whatsoever. But I do think it's interesting that in 3 out of the past 4 seasons, BB21 being the only exception, I guess you could include BB19 as well, we've just had this like kind of methodical way of going to the end game. And maybe it's because the comps played a certain way, but like all of these felt like we were sliding into the end game with like a pretty predestined outcome. And from my perspective, personally, I'd rather have a good start to a Big Brother season than a good finish, just because if it's a good finish like BB21, I didn't necessarily care about the people left. So it wasn't like, oh, this is so exciting. This is so amazing. I have so much personal investment because I really didn't, as opposed to I'd rather have, okay, all this stuff is amazing in the beginning and then it sort of peters out. So that being said, I still enjoy this season, I think, more than your BB21s or your BB19s.
Yeah, I really think the biggest problem is just the spacing in this, because really it all comes down to the competitions and there's almost nothing to do in between. So they really should come into like a week before the finale with like 5 people left in the house and then just boom, 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 boom. I don't know why they're in, I think we were talking about at the top of the show. I don't know why they're in such a hurry for the double evictions, because I do feel like that in a lot of these seasons, even BB19, like it was like BB19 was weird. It was almost like that. Well, Paul's going to win, even though he didn't. But who is he going to take to the end? So it's like a lot of times I feel like there's a lot of things that are sort of like in turmoil at the final 6, but then basically like that final 6 HOH happens and it's like, okay, the die is cast. This is who the final 2, final 3 is going to be. And so if we could just sort of like, okay, whatever happens at the final 6 is going to like sort of like, okay, really determine the end game. Like, well, let's like knock that all out in the week and then keep as many people in the house as we can until we get to that point.
Yeah, knock it out hopefully like Ed does to Pauly Calafiore in a couple of months. Yeah, I agree, because it's this idea of, I think the last third of Big Brother in particular, like you said, from Final 6 onwards, is so competition heavy. You can certainly strategize around it. Like Kylan taking Xavier off the block was by far the most interesting thing to happen in that double eviction. And it earned a lot of intriguing talk about it come Friday night's episode. But I would say that if people are like, oh, there's exciting things happening at the final 5 of BB21, therefore we should make an entire week, that is much different from what the norm is. I'd say 8 times out of 10, it's going to be what we've been getting the past few seasons of like the die is cast, the writing's on the wall. It all comes down to competition. So let's shrink it a little bit. Have it run like, do that surprise eviction on like a Monday or a Tuesday, and then do the final 4 round from Tuesday to Thursday, and then just squeeze it all together. Yeah, I'd rather have that than like a double eviction where we're sending 4 people out in 2 weeks.
And all you have to do is just not have the double evictions. It's the same. It's not like, and also take like 12 days off the schedule. I mean, it wouldn't kill you, but what about in terms of BB Can 9? Did we have the same problem there?
No, because BB Can 9. No, because BB Can 9 also did like the pseudo buyback, right? That was the last hope that everyone held out was for the fake double eviction. So like, but the thing about BB Can 9 is, looking back at it more and more, my God, were we spoiled.
I think it was the superior season of 2021.
Oh, I mean, by far, and I will still say it's one of my favorite Big Brother Canada seasons of all time. I think we were eating so good, but we didn't realize it until we went to go eat at another establishment of like, oh, that food was actually really good.
Yeah.
And we had so much chaos all like every single week. Arguably the most boring weeks were those final couple weeks. And still there was this big stuff about like, okay, is Ty actually going to win given the fact of what happened with Jet? Like there was so much great stuff happening. And I would still say that the first like 5 to 7 weeks of BB23, I still absolutely loved. I think there was so much intrigue in like, how was the cookout able to pull this off? I think it lost steam by the time we got to that second double eviction, and then the balloon just completely exhausted all of its air. Now, look, we still might get an Ozza Big D finale, which for chaos sake might be fun if we start the season with Frenchie's Funhouse and we end with the 2 Jokers. I think that would be fun bookends. But other than that, there is not too much peaking, I'd say, the adrenaline in any of us at the moment, which I think is a consequence of both maybe the end game of the season, but I think much more the schedule of the season. I totally agree.
Okay. All right, Mike, what's coming up for you?
Oh my goodness. Well, there's a little show by the name of Survivor that's coming back for season 41. The monster is coming, and his name is not Land Kai. He's coming for your tortillas. This is Survivor 41. It's premiering with a 2-hour episode preempting Big Brother, which will be coming on for a special episode at 10 o'clock, baby.
It could really just come back on Thursday.
Yeah, that we don't really need like that. You could really squeeze the veto into one episode. But basically, I have become sort of like the one-stop shop for all things Survivor 41. If you want to know stuff about it, I have cast interviews with each of the 18 members. I have an interview with Jeff Probst where he describes everything going on in this season. I have tribe breakdowns. And then, Rob, I had the great privilege of coming on with you over the course of the first couple weeks this month. We did a first reaction show. We did 3 cast previews where we came on and listened to the interviews. Those were so much fun. So if you want to like cram, if you're trying to study these castaways like these contestants are studying their days, be sure to check out parade.com. I'll also be doing exit press for Survivor as well. As I mentioned before, I'll also be doing Big Brother exit press, certainly talking with all the house guests. However that may come, maybe my coverage will be preempted a week if they go right from the jury house into this B&B for a week. Maybe CBS won't get a hold of them. Outside of that, as we're bidding adieu to BB23, we're also bidding adieu to Survivor South Africa. Shannon, Gus, and I recorded earlier today 3.5 hours wrapping up this season of Survivor South Africa, which was a really fun episode of a really unexpected episode. The complete opposite of what's going on with this endgame of BB23 going on Survivor South Africa. So be sure to check that out. In addition, we're doing the Survivor B&B and the Big Brother B&B. Leon and I, from a Big Brother perspective, are going to come back next weekend to do a Big Brother B&B to wrap up everything. We have yet to give our comic book names for the cookout, and I cannot wait to see what beats Kyland. The Kylander, I think it was what it was, right? And Xavier's garish horse teeth in his picture. We shall see. But then also on post-show recaps, I'm talking Lost with Josh Wigler. We're in season 6. I'm talking The X-Files with my wife, Angela Bloom. And then some other random stuff from time to time. I just did a Brand Steel with Curb Your Enthusiasm characters.
I saw it. I said, wow. Mike Bloom is such a hardworking podcaster that he did the pretty good podcast Brand Steel of all of the Curb Your Enthusiasm characters.
Yeah, it was sort of because they sort of have what we do on Down the Hatch was like an MVP LVP system. They took their MVPs versus their LVPs, and so that was very fun. I got to introduce Alexander Chester to Brand Steel, and if you know any of those two terms, you know that was a treat. So, and it was also a while since I did a Brand Steel, so it was nice to like dip my toes back in those waters. So be sure to check that out. I am working up a sweat when it comes to covering reality television, and I'm wiping myself up with a tortilla. Oh, and The Circle. I've been covering The Circle for Parade.com. It mostly is going to come next week. I have exit interviews with all 5 of the finalists. I won't say who they are, but if you're looking for Circle coverage, it is going to fall onto you in droves and droves coming up after the finale. So lots of stuff. I have a Phil Kogan interview for Tough as Nails too. So like the reality TV wheels are turning.
Mr. Reality TV, Mike Bloom.
Oh, is that going to be my boxing nickname for when I take Puya on in the boxing match?
I don't know. You're not going to be like Mike, full bloom Mike.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what that would entail. I like Mr. Reality MVP because I think that's on par with some of these nicknames that they have.
I, on the other hand, was a man whore.
Oh, man whore Mike Bloom. I just want Peter Brown to be like, look at this man whore.
Yeah.
He got laid out.
He takes after my own heart. Yeah. All right. Mike, incredible job. Always a treat to get to have fun with on the podcast.
Yeah, this was great. This was great.
Can't wait for the
like
B&B to come back for Survivor.
Yeah, this was so sloppy. The Big Brother season might be approaching like the more predictable point in the end, but like the Big Brother community is always full of mess, and we, much like Derek F, are going to spend several times cleaning it up, even though we ran out of cigarettes 4 months ago. Thank you very much.
Many years ago. All right. Thank you all for checking out the Slop here today. We got plenty more patron content for you to check out later on this week. We'll be back with another episode of the BB Q&A. I think that's going to be the season finale of the BB Q&A. We'll have the Survivor Q&A, the patron 5 for 5. And of course, we'll get into our full Survivor slate kicking off on Wednesday night. Hope to see you there. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.